Hey there guys, this is DukeGames420 here, back at it again with yet another figure review. And this time we're going to be taking a look at the S.H.Figuarts Son Goku, a Saiyan raised on Earth version. Now this review is going to be relatively short. I don't really have much to say about this figure that hasn't already been said. But I think he's a pretty okay piece. If you're looking for a good base Goku or a good starting point for your collection, this is definitely the figure for you because he is a very affordable piece as of the moment, and you can still nab him. But without further ado, turn the lights down and the volume up as we journey into this figure review. Taking a closer up look at Goku's box here, you can see we have Goku in his saluting pose. It's definitely interesting. I don't know why they decided to do that, because it could probably lead to the figure breaking in the box or something like that. And you can see there S.H.Figuarts Son Goku, a Saiyan raised on Earth, and then we have a picture of Goku right there, and then a picture of his chest. I assume is a picture of his arm, picture of his face, and then we have the usual warning: Bandai Tamashii Nations, Dragon Ball Z, Toei, blah 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 blah. This is the older version of the figure, before the blue Bandai and the joke that we call the Tamashii Nations quality sticker. Top, we just have a picture of Goku doing the instant transmission, bizarrely enough, even though he never used it in this outfit. On the side, we have a picture of his hand. I never understood why they did that. A picture of his face, and a picture of his kanji. And on the back here, we have a picture of Goku doing his salute. Full array of interchangeable hand and face parts allow for expressive portrayal of Son Goku. Son Goku, a Saiyan raised on Earth, yet again. A picture of Goku performing the instant transmission, yet again. Pictures of Goku there, him saluting and him charging a Kamehameha, and then him firing said Kamehameha, him doing a battle stance, and him gutting Frieza. Then super action. Dynamic articulation enables recreation of Son Goku iconic action sequences from the anime, and S.H.Figuarts Frieza is sold separately. And we just have some bluefin crap that we don't really care about, a whole bunch of stuff that is hidden by it, a sticker representing the Snake's Den, and some Japanese crap that I can't read. On the side we have Son Goku, a Saiyan raised on Earth, and on the bottom we have him saluting, and Figuarts Son Goku, a Saiyan raised on Earth. Anyways, let's get Goku out of the box. So here Goku is, albeit awkwardly posed out of the box, and to be honest with you, even though I said it was a good starting point, I'm honestly torn on it. On one hand, the figure is really good for $35, and he does do the part. He does look like Goku, and it does function for the most part, but there are definitely issues with this figure that I couldn't ignore. But let's get right into that, because I don't have any comparisons for the moment. So fresh out of the box, we have this happy face. His eyebrows, his eyes, and his mouth all done very nicely on this face. I have no real complaints there. The ears are nicely painted, and the hair is detailed very well, but the hair is essentially the same as what you would have been getting on God Goku. So if you already have that figure, you pretty much know what to expect with this hair piece. I've heard there are some subtle differences regarding the bangs, like this hair piece has more bangs than God Goku, but I've compared the two side by side before reviewing him, and I don't notice that many differences. And then we have the shirt, which is sculpted well. It's actually pretty accurate, because Goku's V-neck was a little higher in the Frieza saga, if memory serves well. And this is where my first issue with the figure comes in. They did not give him a matte finish in the upper torso. A lot of people would like to say that this isn't really glossy, but you can clearly see the light reflecting off of Goku's chest here. And conveniently enough, I have him off camera. Here he is next to the SDCC 2011 Goku, and you can see while 2011 has a little bit of sheen to him, not nearly as bad as Saiyan Raised on Earth. You can definitely see on this Goku over here that the sheen is barely noticeable and doesn't really catch that much of the light. What I find particularly strange about the paint is that the blue in the skin tone has a clear matte finish, and then the legs also have a matte finish almost all throughout. But just this one area up in here doesn't have a matte finish. You can clearly see that the abs, if you'd like to call them that, they have much less of a glossy finish than the rest of Goku's orange, which is very strange if you ask me. But the figure does look good. I just think there could be some shading implemented. And don't get me wrong, there is a little bit, but it's only really down on the bottom of his knees, which isn't too great. But for the most part, this is a doable Goku. If you can't afford the original base Goku, or you can't get the SDCC 2015 one, I suppose this does the job, because it's kind of sort of both, more so a 2.0 of the 2015 Goku. But anyways, let's get into the accessories. So when it boils down to it, Goku really doesn't come with that much. You get that he's only $35, but back in the early days of this line, $40 would have gotten you Trunks. So just bear that in mind as we go on throughout this review. So you can clearly see Goku has three faces that are not default in the package. He has a stern face, which looks okay. He has a gritted teeth face, which is probably my second favorite out of all his faces. It just sort of gives me that Raging Blast vibe. And he also has a screaming face, which isn't really screaming, it just kind of looks like he's angrily talking. This eye is clearly smaller than the other one, and it's not just a matter of it being up higher, it's genuinely smaller than the other one. And in my mind, that just looks awkward. And given this is one of the first figures, I believe, to have the Tamashii Nation's quality sticker on it, this is kind of a flub that they really shouldn't have overlooked. That about does it for his faces. In terms of hands, we get the bizarre teleportation, instantaneous movement, instant transmission hand that just about every Goku in the line has come with. A fist, which is bizarre again because posed him in the box. He also comes with some martial arts stance hands, which are pretty good, I guess. And he comes with some open Kamehameha hands. I really wish they gave him some Genki Dama hands, because that would have really fit this particular design of Goku, considering that is one of the most iconic scenes from the Frieza saga. But I guess this works. Anyways, let's move on to Goku's articulation. It's articulation time, and I'm not going to beat around the bush. Goku has quite a bit of articulation. His head can look all the way up on a ball hinge. It can look off, it can go full 360, and it doesn't really get too good pivoting. And the neck really doesn't help it. It's kind of stiff. The arm only really goes out about that high if you don't really want to destroy the look of the sculpt too much, but if you're willing to destroy the sculpt and get it all the way out, rotates the whole way around, and it does have a butterfly joint that isn't really helpful at all. So here it is brought out without the butterfly joint, here it is with the butterfly joint. Doesn't really do much in the end. There's a bicep swivel, just about every figure in the line has. Double hinge for the elbow, a wrist pivot, and swivel on a ball hinge. There's not much side to side. The torso can crunch inward pretty far and goes back in goes back a little farther from what I can tell. It does swivel a little bit, but it doesn't really do much because the pelvis blocks it off. Then the belt can rotate. Wouldn't rotate it too much, especially on mine because it feels particularly loose. The leg is not particularly sturdy on mine. It does get okay splits, not amazing. And then it does go forward and back like that. And there is a thigh swivel, not very effective because this blocks it off, but it does get some of the job done. There's a double hinge for the knee and an ankle joint that goes all the way down and can go to the side like that. Not great ankle rocker, and it doesn't really go too far out that side either. Toe hinge looks kind of ugly, but it gets the job done. Right, so let's move on to my final thoughts on this here Goku. Alright, so time for my final thoughts on Goku here. The figure isn't exactly perfect. There are issues with this figure that I can't particularly overlook. Mainly the pelvis, and the majority of the orange on him, aside from the leg, is relatively glossy. But for a $30 action figure compared to the usual $50 at MSRP, this Goku it's doable. It's not horrible, it's not perfect, it's in the middle of the bell curve. It's just average. If you're just starting the line, go for it. If you're a completionist, go for it. But if you've already got the San Diego Goku, I'd say this isn't exactly a replacement. There are a lot of things that the San Diego one, just from what I've seen of it, does better than this figure. But for the most part, this figure still is pretty okay. And considering that he's only $30 right now, why wait? It's a perfectly fine addition to your collection, and I don't think many collectors will have regrets purchasing this figure. That said, I will warn you, the quality control, as I showed in my little shitpost, is iffy at best on this figure. But with that said, I guess I can recommend you spend your money on this because it is a fairly accurate representation of Goku. But anyways, this has been DipGames420, and I will see you guys next time.